You're listening to the 212 Roundtable Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Google Podcasts, as well as Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave a review and subscribe. You can also find the Brew Club at 212.beer. That's the number 2, the word 12.beer. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching 212 Brew Club. Now on to the show. Welcome to another episode of 212 Roundtable. I am Tony Golick.
And I'm Brandon Winninger.
You need me to finish to say as always. As always.
I'm Brandon Winninger.
All right.
I haven't changed my name.
Not yet. Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, we're getting into a style of beer that I really like. And I think I say that every episode, but it's that time of year.
Well, it's because we usually talk about beers that we really like.
That's true. We haven't done an episode about beers I don't like, which I don't know if there's a beer that I don't like.
No, I mean...
Oh, we could do a brewed IPA episode. I don't like those.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, I wouldn't say I hate it.
Yeah, I've only had one that I liked. The rest of them I don't like.
It's like if I wanted to do a milkshake IPA. That would I guess I hate.
Hey, why don't we do a milkshake brewed IPA episode?
Yeah.
Just
that means we have to drink them.
Well, think about those are like two of the on the opposite spectrums. A milkshake beer, which is loaded with lactose and other fruits, and the fucking smoothie, a carbonated smoothie with alcohol in it. And then the brewed IPA is just super dry.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But we are going to talk about Oktoberfest beers, which everybody, I'm sure at this point, you guys have all had an Oktoberfest now, right? This is where everyone, you can nod your head and say, yes.
Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy.
Oi, oi, oi. Have you ever been to Germany for Oktoberfest?
No, but so when we went for our honeymoon, it was kind of neat because we literally got to Germany, we got to Munich on 420. And
Blaze it.
Just because we got to the hotel, it was like 1 o'clock. And my wife was like, well, we should find something to do. So I literally got on the internet. I was Googling stuff, couldn't find anything. And I was like, nothing's going on. So let me look at Google Maps. I said, a cool place to go would be, let's see how far the park is where they do Oktoberfest, like Germanfest. So I Googled it, and Google Maps had this thing on there where if there's an event happening, and it said Freulingfest. Mm-hmm. And I clicked on that, and I was like, what is this? And Becca, she knows a little German, and I told her, she goes, sounds like Springfest? And I was like, so I Googled Springfest, and it was literally their Mayfest, their Mayfest, cool. Or whatever. And it goes like 2.5 weeks, starting on
so it's
420.
It's the spring version of Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Well, just like in here, we do like...
we do Mayfest.
Yeah, there's this place that do Mayfest, MyFest. But it was... So we walked over to the grounds, and all the big tents were set up.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about all this.
And we sat in a table with underage kids. This kid was like 16. And we were drinking liters of beer and talking to him. Oh, and he was like screaming about how Trump is amazing and like...
What?
Yeah, he was weird.
Interesting. That doesn't sound like I'm sorry, I'm also eating a pretzel.
The kid was like 16 years old, and it was hilarious. And I was like, all right, you know what? Good for you, kid.
He's got...
Don't you have school in the end? Because it was like 3 o'clock.
Drinking beer.
Yeah, so we hung out there, and like there's awesome video of like us just chilling and stuff like that. It was fun.
My God, your washer sounds like a helicopter.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be done by now.
That's all right. Well, for those, let's get a little background on Oktoberfest. And I did research for this episode, so I'm really proud of myself. Oktoberfest began as a wedding celebration more than 200 years ago when Bavaria's Crown Prince Ludwig married Princess Therese of Saxony-Hildburghausen on October 12, 1810. I probably butchered the last name. The wedding was celebrated with multiple days of drinking, feasting, and horse races. And the reason why it's Oktoberfest, Oktoberfest ends on the first Sunday of October. So it goes for 2 weeks. So it starts the second half of September and ends in October. And I'm sure all major cities now in the United States have some type of Oktoberfest, some type of celebration, which normally is a bunch of beer, mainly German, pretzels and sausage, which, that's all right up my alley.
Can't go wrong with
Yeah,
that.
I know, you can't go wrong with it at all. Now, the traditional Oktoberfest beers are lagers that are brewed and consumed in celebration of the Oktoberfest. And technically, they must be brewed within the city limits of Munich and be brewed with accordance of the Reinheitsgebot. Am I saying that right?
Yep, close enough.
I think I got the phlegm right. The German purity law that states beer can only be brewed with water, malted barley, hops, and yeast. And there are only 6 breweries in Germany that can call their beers Oktoberfest. And I'm not going to go through all of them except for Hacker Shore, Lowenbrau, and Spaten. Hofbrau as well. Yeah, they can do it. Only certain brewers, like Sam Adams, stylize their fall seasonals as Oktoberfest with a C and not with a K. And the 2 styles that are associated with Oktoberfest are Marzen lagers and Fest beers. And we're lucky enough, being in Chicago, that we have access to numerous Oktoberfest Marzen lagers and Fest beers available to us. You went out and got some. I got some. Let's get down to
drink
it.
it.
Now, yeah, because we poured this, and I'm really excited. Why don't you tell the people?
Yeah, so we're starting
drinking?
off with the Spaten Oktoberfest. This beer is one of my favorites, and I think I first really got introduced to this beer after I take a sip.
I'm already 2 sips in. Oh man, that's so.
Yeah, growing up in Lincoln Square was a German neighborhood, and there's a bar down at the end of my parents' block that was Hooten Bar. Excuse me. And that bar, like, they always had, like, Spaten, like, it's Hofbrau, Julius Ector, like, all these really German beers, Anger, stuff like that. But Spaten Oktoberfest, that was one of the first ones that I had, and I'm like, this is different, and this is good.
And I can still say that today.
Yeah.
It's so good. And this is the Marzen style of the Oktoberfest. And just to give you guys a rundown of what the Marzen means, in case you don't know, the Marzen lager, which is now more common than Fest beers, have become what most drinkers associate with Oktoberfest styles. They are generally darker in color and predominantly toasty, malty lagers. Spaten Oktoberfest that is imported to the U.S. falls into the style, is why many breweries mold their fall seasonal after. And by the way, all this information, this is plagiarizing if I don't say it. I got it from an article at gotbeer.com. I was looking for something that summarized it nicely while I was on break today at work. That's my research for the day.
I mean, it's a good summary.
It's great, yeah. But yeah, this is exactly what is the description, which is toasty, malty lager. It's a little. Trying to think of the way I want to describe the hoppiness, because it is in a green bottle, so it's not skunky.
No,
but it's got a little.
It's reminiscent of like that, like Heineken thing that I get.
A little light struck, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if this was, and also that. Ooh, excuse me. That taste is coming from it being light struck, and then I think science happens.
Yeah,
I'm gonna edit that out.
Yeah, I don't really know the science behind like the green. And I've heard like, oh, the green bottles are better, the clear bottles are better, like, and in the end, it's like, I don't know. I think if you put a bottle in front of light, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah. Yes. Especially greener or clear. You don't want your bottles in front of light, everybody. But I've had this before. I prefer now, and we do have a Fest beer that we're gonna drink. Me personally, I prefer the Marzen Oktoberfest beers for the most part. I do like the fact that they are sweet, toasty and roasty, like it should be, like a darker beer almost. I mean, obviously this is a darker, but it's a lager, so it's easy to drink, which is also dangerous because these are normally what's the alcohol on this? Does it show?
This one's 5.9.
Yeah. So most of the Oktoberfest and Fest beers that I've had have been around mid-5s to almost 7% ABV. So as an easy drinker, it's also easy to turn you into a sleazy stinker. Did you like that one?
No.
No, okay.
Carry on.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, Spaten makes other beers that I do enjoy, but yeah, this Oktoberfest is pretty solid, so I'll give it a good thumbs up.
Yeah, didn't we come up with a rating scale?
No.
Yeah, we did. We said 212,
Oh, we did.
212.1 to 212.10.
Oh, yeah.
And I said we'd change it by then, and we didn't.
Forgot it.
If I had to rate this right now, as far as other than the little skunkiness to it, I'd say this is like a solid. I'm trying to imagine this on tap, and I can imagine it being super tasty. But going off the bottle here, I'm gonna go with a 7, and that's only because I think it's a little light struck and it's a little skunky.
Yeah, I would.
And that's only a byproduct of sun hitting in the bottle.
Of nature.
It's a byproduct of nature. But
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
yeah, it would be cool to revisit this if we could get it not in a green bottle and not light struck.
Let's go to Germany. Let's go to Munich.
Pause the tape. We're going to Germany. This is the second time I think we've time traveled. I think episode 0 we did it.
But that would not. It literally in my head, I was thinking, I was like, man, like maybe next year we just plan a trip to Munich around Oktoberfest.
Perfect.
I got some points. Let's just go.
Let's do it. Who wants to come with us? All right.
Make it a party.
Should we move on to another one?
We'll do another one.
I think you should grab the Hofbrau. Right? Yeah.
My hand was off.
Nice. Because that is a fest beer. I guess I'm going to sit through this one and edit. I'm not talking a whole. Oh, yeah. This rich golden color. I'll break down what a fest beer is. Again, according to gotbeer.com's article. It says, if you're lucky enough to experience the Oktoberfest in Munich, you likely will not find the Marzen lagers that you are used to. It says costuming American soil. Whoops, maybe don't go
Edit much.
consuming on American soil. Instead, your liter mug will be filled with a lighter, breadier lager beer with a medium bitterness and a pilsner-like finish. This is what is known as the fest beer. It is typically much lighter than the Marzen lagers and drinks much easier than its ABV. Drinks much longer. Fuck. Drinks much easier than its ABV suggests. The typical range is between 5.8 and 6%, as we were just saying. There are several American breweries that are starting to brew this traditional consumed lager, including the Sierra Nevada Brewery with their Oktoberfest. Starting the fall of 2015, the California-based brewery is going to be collaborating. Well, this is an old article. They have been collaborating. They've been collaborating with a German brewery every year, and I plan on buying this year's version. I forget who they teamed up with. But, so this is... Which one are we drinking here?
The Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer.
Nice. That was a cool accent, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to get into this right now. Ooh, it smells good. It smells like a lager.
Yeah.
The last one smelled skunky. Oh, yeah.
It's clean.
Yeah, it's super clean. Then with the description in here saying breadier version of a lager, what they wrote here, I can get that.
Yep.
And it finishes like a Pilsner. Crisp, clean, slightly bitter, but that is refreshing. And I think, does it say the ABV on that one? I feel like that one's 6.
6.3.
That does not drink like a 6.3
No.
beer.
Also dangerous.
Yeah, super dangerous. That's why anytime you and I end up in Lincoln Square, or if I end up with Mike in Lincoln Square and I'm drinking all the German beers,
Well, I mean, think like...
you get wrecked.
Like, that's how it was, like, when I was in Munich. But here's the weirder thing, is, like, when I was in Munich, and we went to we went to, the fest. We drank multiple liters there, walked away, like, feeling moderately fine. Like, I feel like if I would do that here, I would be wasted.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Maybe it's lower altitude down there or something. I don't know.
Good idea.
Or if it has something to do with preservatives in beer or something. But like when they send it, but I don't know, man. I never felt better drinking beer than I did when I was in Munich. Like, I felt like I could drink all day.
Nice.
And get a buzz.
I want to go.
But just not get that nasty hangover. Because the next morning I wake up, I'm like, let's go, let's do it, That
reminds me of the first time not first time, but this is way off topic. There's a couple times I got together with a family member and we drank copious amounts of Jack Daniels. Okay. Straight up Jack Daniels. Was not really mixing it with anything I don't remember. and I thought for sure I was going to wake up with the worst hangover. And both times I did that, woke up bright and early, a little groggy, but no hangover whatsoever. That is just, yeah, it kind of blew my mind. So Jack Daniels is not giving me hangovers. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that sweet Kentucky juice they have down there, Tennessee.
I've got my own stories of Jack Daniels. I hate Jack Daniels.
Sweet Tennessee juice. Sorry, everybody. But yeah, so going back to our beer here,
our Oktoberfest beer.
Which, by the way, why don't we, all the parties and things that we do with friends and family, why hasn't anyone decided to hold an Oktoberfest yet at their house? We can make sausage. We could brew a Marzen or a Fest beer, something to celebrate an Oktoberfest, but, at home. Something to consider next year.
No, that's what I wanted to do.
You should have.
And then we had a kid, so now it's like...
Tell them to hang out. Oh, have fun. Put him in...
sausage costume?
Yeah, a sausage costume. Lederhosen, maybe. He would look great in Lederhosen, I bet.
No, what we need to do is, since now you're making sausage, I've made it, we gotta have like a sausage party.
A sausage party? A sausage party.
Yeah!
2 dudes and their sausages. Rating this one, I'm going with...
I'm saying 8.
I'm going to say 8 as well. Yeah, look at that. That's really good. I really like it.
Yep.
I'm happy that I have some more at my house.
Yay!
I plan on drinking this entire month of September.
Awesome.
And equally as happy about the next beer.
No, you just finished that one, and I finished mine.
I did. And then the next beer is one, the brewery itself makes one of my favorite beers, and I believe I've talked about it a few times on here, or at least once, that Hacker Shore was really, I believe, the first craft beer I ever had. It was a different beer for me to have, and
It's not craft beer.
in a sense, correct. But as far as like, we're talking about going out of the major style. How's that? Going out, not major style, but major beers. We'll put it that way. Going outside the Miller, Budweiser realm. When I'm in my 20s, this is where I went. I went to Hacker Shore. But this one is the Hacker Shore Oktoberfest. And when I was at Costco recently, I saw a big case of it. And I wanted to buy it. No, and I didn't. I really, really wanted to. It's been a little while since I've had this one. There's also Hacker Shore Dark. If anybody can find that, send it my way. It is not available in Chicago.
I swear, is Hacker Shore traditionally is that with a lemon or something like that?
Yeah, people put a lemon in there.
Like whatever the standard Hacker Shore is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great beer. It's one of. Oh, we were talking about that with Gus. That's when I was talking about Hacker last.
Yeah.
But yeah, so their style is a Marzen. You can tell it is crystal clear. I can see the head of the beer through it. I can see the little bubbles floating on the head. It's a nice golden caramel color. It looks like fall. It looks like fall in a glass, man. Fall in a glass. I'm going straight in for my first sip.
Yeah, and so the big difference between this one and the Spaten Oktoberfest, well, even the Hofbrau. So this is the darkest brown glass out of all of the three so far.
Yeah,
and then the Spaten was in the green glass, and the Hofbrau was an Oktoberfest beer. So it'd be interesting to see how this same style.
I took a sip of it. This is the Marzen style again. That is super smooth, super easy, and what I imagine the Spaten was going to be without that skunkiness.
Yep, agreed.
It's actually a little less. It's definitely less bitter than the Fest beer from Hofbrau. This is a little smoother.
A little bit, yeah.
More like a. Well, again, that was a Fest beer, and this is a Marzen. This has more of a caramely taste to it. I really like this one. This holds up to what I remember having this many moons ago.
Reminds you of your childhood.
This does remind me of my childhood. Man, I sound like I'm wasted already. It does remind me of my childhoods. What does it mean?
But no, this is... I mean, out of the three, I think this is kind of ranking... This might be my favorite so far.
This is my favorite so far, for sure. And I know you have... I know there's like 3 more, and we said we're not going to go through all of them. But I do want to go through at least a couple of them to try and figure it out, because they're all the craft brewery ones. I'm excited.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The other three are. The rest of them are. The rest of them are all craft beer. And I'd like to do a comparison since we've tried these to where those stand. Because really, you and I have only had a beer and a half, my friend.
Well, and I even know that like one of them is not even like a Marzen; it's a lager. It's just straight up says lager.
Ooh.
So
I don't know which one he's talking about, but
it'll be
find
interesting
out.
to see which one is just a lager.
And since we are in this time of year, we're going to discuss beers to be brewing for October, which is next month. Brandon and I have already begun. Well, before this episode, we've already begun talking about what we want to brew for Halloween, because that's what we normally do. We normally brew a beer for Halloween. Last year, we did our cereal beers right before we started doing the podcast. We actually featured on Basic Brewing Radio, fine podcast. They had our 2 beers on there.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, James. We had our Count Stout on there and the Frankenshake, the Frankenweiss beer. That was made with the Frankenberry cereal, and the Count Stout was made with Count Chocula and a bunch of dark chocolate. So we will talk about that as well.
As we progress.
Yeah. As I progress. Yeah, I'm very burpy on these beers. Is that a thing from
I feel like it
Oktoberfest? Is that happening? Sorry.
Well, even like it's funny because I feel
I'm
like
going to try and edit out as many of those as possible, but I feel like it...
that was fake. But I like when I was in Germany, dude, like all those people just burped and whatever, and it was just like, oh, it's all good. I'm like, okay,
just comes with it. Well, go grab yourself a sausage and maybe fill up another mug of beer. So we're going to take a sausage. Ditka.
Sausage. Oh.
We're going to take a break, and I sourced some public domain or copyright free Oktoberfest music for you to drink or listen to. For you to listen to while you drink during the break.
Pretzel time.
Yeah, I'm editing that out for sure. And our next beer after the break comes from here in Chicago. Revolution's Oktoberfest with a K. Ballsy move, bros. Ballsy move.
Takes a lot to know a lot. Do they know a lot?
On the can, this is what Brandon pointed out, it says German style lager. That's it. Has it got any description of it on there?
Nope.
Damn it, Revolution.
But German style lager, so, I mean, with lager, you always think like, a lighter beer, clearer beer. But the, like, Mars and stuff, those are traditionally lagers as well, so. But we poured it, and this is like an amber color.
That's like rich golden orange color. Kind of looks like maple syrup.
Did they dye this?
I don't know. I will tell you this though. It could be the you just made the same face I did. Going in and smelling it, it smells like farts.
Yep.
Not sulfur. Like, it doesn't smell great. And I love this beer. It's a really good beer. It might be the glass that we're drinking it out of. We have not rinsed it once from all the other beers.
No.
But I'm going in for my sip.
It's not bad. That's solid.
It's pretty good. It's a little more bitter than I
Yes.
want for the style. And I feel like, that comes from good old American brewing. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah.
We love our hops. We love bitterness. We like to take every style and just force our bitterness right up inside it. Whoa.
Yeah, but not bad. Easy drinking.
Yeah, it's
would
good.
think.
What's the ABV on this?
5.8?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.8.
No, 5.7.
Ooh. Yeah, Revolution Oktoberfest is one of my favorite local Oktoberfest beers. And I think I'm not going to be around for their Oktoberfest this year. So I think it is around my anniversary. We have it on Milwaukee Avenue, right by the brew pub.
Yep.
But
Solid fest.
I digress. It's good. It's putting it up when I don't have the other beers readily available, and I don't have them to compare them to. This and Sam Adams Oktoberfest are my go-to Oktoberfest style beers, and I think Brandon also mentioned this is a Marzen, not a Fest beer. It's the only beer that we have here today that's actually in a can, which is cool. If I'm gonna rank this against the other beers that we have tried so far, this beer is on the lower spectrum. I'm because of the bitterness that's in it.
I give it a 4.
I was gonna give it a 5.
Yep, I give it a 4.
Yeah, and it does, and it's not a bad beer. Like I said, it is my go-to Oktoberfest with Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Those two are my favorite.
No, in my mind, I'm rating it against the other beers.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. If I'm going against other beers, this is low on the totem pole so far. It's not a bad beer, but when we started off with 3 beers that are true to the style, and in Germany, it's hard to compare.
Yep.
So Germany wins on this one. See you later, America.
I thought you were going to chug that. Like,
No. No, the more I took another sip of it. Maybe because my palate's used to bitter beers. I enjoy the bitter beers. How many times am I going to say bitter beer in a row? It does taste less bitter. My taste buds have acclimated to that. But it definitely has the sweetness. It definitely has that like toffee. It's not very toasty like we got from the other 2 Marzen styles from Germany. But this one's good. Unfortunately, it does not stack up to the originators.
No.
So, sorry, Revolution. I love you guys.
No, and like, I would almost believe that they know that too. Like,
sure. I mean, it's a good version, good style, I guess, but it's not. Does not match.
yeah. So, like, when we were talking about, like, brewing beers for October, like, one of the things was, like, should we try an Oktoberfest beer? And then it's like you have to look at a bunch of recipes from, or what you can gather from people, like, posting of, like, Spaten or Hofbrau or Hackershore, like, or just their own creations, even, like, Revolution, like, we have to look at those recipes and say, all right, like, what's the traditional malt that goes in there? It's malt, barley, yeast, and water, or whatever.
Hops too.
Yeah, hops. Yeah.
Don't forget about hops.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
Malt,
like,
barley. Normally, it's the same.
yeah, whatever. So, yeah, well, that's what I meant. But anyway, so
I'm
it's
being
like
a jerk.
It's like, so, like, whatever. Looking at, if we want to go Reinheitsgebot,
I liked your version of it.
we'd have to look at, all of that and then make
All
it.
of that. Oh, and then some Canadians there too. What's
What are you
going
talking
on?
about? But kind of like pulling all of that in and making a decision of like what we want to brew. So
Yeah, I tend to go and look at articles that show recipes. I tend to look at web pages that are from authors that I respect as far as homebrewing goes. And I also look at Beersmith to see what other people are doing and kind of pull together what I think would be a good mix of all these recipes. Mainly, what are the most common ingredients? Especially the malts. It's not necessarily the hops I'm worried about. It is the malt, because I want that. It's a malty beer. You know what I mean? There's a sweetness to the Oktoberfest beer, so I want to nail that perfectly. Oh man, there's ghosts moving things upstairs. So I think doing a Oktoberfest style beer is in our future, and I think a good idea. And maybe that's what we'll plan on doing pretty soon. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and record some of that. Maybe not the actual brew day like we did Brandon's cider. It wouldn't be as interesting if we just recorded the 4-hour process of a brew day.
No, that's not fun.
And I sure as shit am not going to edit a 4-hour episode.
No, but we can recap after the brew.
After the brew. What are with these? You hear a lot of accents coming on you right now.
I don't know. It's the pretzels, damn it. I blame the pretzels.
I'm a worldly man. It just happens. Speaking of...
pretzels?
No. I was going to say, speaking of beers that we're brewing, Brandon and I came up with the idea, and when I say Brandon and I, it's because I was a part of the text chain, the text chain between the two of us. Since last year we did the Monster cereals, this year we were thinking maybe, other than now considering the Oktoberfest, we were going to focus on beers inspired by Halloween candy. Because why not do a nice big stout that's reminiscent of your favorite Halloween candy? And he threw out a couple of good ideas. What were the ideas he threw out?
So one was like Snickers.
Snickers, okay.
Almond Joy.
Almond Joy, I like.
And I got the Almond Joy. Well, when I said Almond Joy, then I thought of Proprietors. From back then, It's like, oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah. I like the coconut in it.
No, so do I. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love... If you do the coconut right, it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you try and use extract, you get suntan lotion. Not good. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, you threw in there as well.
Yeah.
So chocolate and peanut butter is something we have tried before. We did it as a porter. So if we did something like a bigger beer that focused on peanut butter and chocolate, that'd be fun.
What was there was something else that we talked about. What's the thing with the lactose?
No, I thought it was still about these beers in
probably
general.
was.
And then
eating lactose, and we've got lactose.
We got plenty of lactose. You made the joke about Swedish fish, and I said just throw it in the mash.
Oh yeah,
that would not work. It would. There's probably so many preservatives or other bullshit in there.
No, ironically,
not preservatives, but so much shit that'll be in there that would kill the
Ironically, I was asking my wife, and I was like, "Oh, we were talking about doing this." She goes, "What about Swedish fish?" And I was like, "Swedish fish." Well, I was thinking, God, that could end up terrible.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be like a cherry beer.
Well,
which is fine.
Which isn't bad. But then I also thought it was like, how often? Like, I don't remember really getting Swedish fish a lot when I was.
I remember there being
like Twizzlers.
Twizzlers are good. I remember there being. I thought Nerds too. Nerds is tart.
Yes.
Mike's got the sour nailed down in the brew.
Yeah, nobody cares about Mike anymore.
Yeah, fuck Mike. I actually tried to get him onto the show tonight. There was a possibility he was going to come by. It was slim. I thought I had him. But we'll get him on. We'll get you on, Mike. You son of a jerk. But yeah, I was trying to think of other candies that would be good. And I know there's been, I think, almost positive there have been some type of candy corn beers. Where they use candy corn, or like I know you're eating a pretzel and you've got an idea and you've got
no. Becca said that, and I was like, "Oh my god, no!"
And I hate candy corn, but is there a way, maybe that we make a beer? I mean, that's just like straight up sugar.
Yeah,
that's just straight up sugar. So what if we try and do a batch of something, but we use candy corn to boost the alcohol?
Well, and that's the thing too. Well, we could.
I'm gonna do some research into.
But how much of that sugar would burn off?
Well, it won't burn off, but like it'll stay in.
Not burn off, but like turn into alcohol.
That's what I mean.
And what's the residual flavor will be left with?
I don't know. Maybe we do a 1 gallon test batch.
I'd be down with that.
Maybe we end up with a really cool, interesting beer, or we end up with something that sucks.
Maybe that's what we got to do is a couple of 1 gallon test batches of stuff. Make a base beer.
Sure. Well, it depends. Yeah, we'll figure out what kind of style we want to do, and then we'll go from there.
It's hard to say make a base beer because we'd have to have like a bunch of shit set up for.
Yeah, we have to figure out what
for the boil.
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to do.
Or whatever.
Exactly. That's something to talk about. And then once we have that figured out, we'll start brewing that. And in October, we'll be able to bring out the most. Some people would say the most hated style, or it used to be the most hated style, until these New England IPAs came out and all these other beer styles came out.
Milkshakes, IPAs.
But the old pumpkin ale, pumpkin beer, that'll be coming soon. And I'm sure as shit we are going to talk about pumpkin beers because you know what? I'm a person, and I like... That's it. I should have ended the sentence there. I'm a person, period. I'm a person who actually enjoys pumpkin beers. And it really depends on how well that beer is seasoned. I've had people tell me, a good pumpkin beer, you should, taste pumpkin. Why the fuck would you want to taste pumpkin in a beer? A pumpkin beer to me is like pumpkin spice. It's the spices that you put in pumpkin pie. It is not, tastes like fleshy, unflavorful gourd. Why would you want any beer that tastes like that? And maybe I'm wrong because I haven't had one like that. But if anybody can direct me to a beer that uses real pumpkin, no pumpkin spice, because you want to taste like pumpkin, and that's what these people have told me, that it's a pumpkin beer where you use actual pumpkin in it, no pumpkin spice whatsoever, but it's a pumpkin beer just like that.
No, and I think those folks have never just eaten straight pumpkin.
It is not tasty at all. Do you know when you carve into a jack-o'-lantern and you get that smell? Imagine that as the taste of your beer.
In your mouth.
Gross.
For the entire meal.
Not fun. So pumpkin beers will definitely be a topic of discussion. We've got a whole lot of stuff we got to cram in as we're getting into the end of the year. Man, so many things are happening.
Crammy.
October. I don't even know how many weeks we have in October. Do we have 3 weeks in October or 2 weeks for the episodes? Might have to start slipping in some...
31 days.
Yeah, okay. We might have to start slipping in some episodes here and there. I've got some ideas.
Well, okay then.
All right.
I got some pretzels.
Let's move. Really enjoying these pretzels. Dots Pretzels. You can check them out at dotspretzels.com. That's DOTSPRETZELS.com. Dots Pretzels.
I'm totally going to email and be like, hey, sponsorship.
By the way, we totally name dropped you on our podcast.
I will eat these on every episode if I have to.
I will talk about them every episode. They're really good. I'm really happy.
Do you listen to the Ron Burgundy podcast?
I do.
When it's like, Charmin toilet paper, like every episode.
Look, I don't know what I'm talking about. Hi, Ron Burgundy here. Dot's Home Style Pretzels. Pride of Dakota. North Dakota Originals. It's only a pound of pretzels. I could kill that right now.
Yep.
All right. You cracked open another brewski. One that I don't know if I've ever had.
I know I've never had. I don't think I have. Well, this fancy new bottle is telling me I haven't, but it is the Goose Island Oktoberfest.
One of our other hopeful future sponsors, Goose Island. We talk about you almost every episode.
So it is a German-style Marzen, which is different from the Revolution, which is a German-style lager.
So yeah, Revolution called their Oktoberfest a German-style lager. Goose Island is calling it a...
German-style Marzen.
Excellent. And I will say the color is almost similar.
Yep. Yeah, and it clocks in apparently at 5.7%.
So these are all hitting what that article is saying.
Yeah, they're in that mark.
Yeah. Ooh, that smells good. That smells bready.
Yep.
Ooh. That I like.
I will say I already like this over the Revolution.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
No.
What did we give Revolution? I gave it a 5. You gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4.
Wow. This This is up there with the German ones. I got to go in for another sip. I mean, it's way more bready.
I would
not
buy
as
this
bitter.
for a party.
Yeah, it's not bitter in the sense that it is offensive to the palate.
I'm just gonna assume that Eric had no hand in this. So.
Yeah, you barrel-aged bastard, you. Yeah, it's really good. It's nice and sweet, but it's way drinkable. Actually, there is a little lingering bitterness in the back that I like.
But yeah,
it's not up
it's
front.
not bad. It's
it's like a good balanced bitterness. Wow,
Yeah.
try to say that 10 times fast.
Well, it's a bitterness that you would expect in a beer, like a traditional. Well, I don't say traditional, but like beers that we normally drink.
Sure.
You expect some kind of like back lingering bitterness, and this has it.
And so this one, compared to the others, though, is not a refreshing beer as much as it is a. It's kind of a filling beer. I'm not knocking it.
No.
I'm saying the other beers were, although this is the 5th beer that we're trying, but going through those beers, like some of them were more refreshing than the others. This one is like, there's a little more, it's a little heartier,
Yeah.
and I like that.
I feel like there's more body to
there you
the
go,
actual
body.
beer.
Actual beer terms, thanks. Yeah, I feel like if I
I
was
know them.
sitting around fire on a cool evening, a cool fall evening, got the hoodie on.
Pants off.
Well, no, my pants would still be on. I'd be wearing shorts, actually. There's a cool breeze. And I went to the cooler. I reached for a beer. I would want to grab this. This is awesome. This is really good. I'm going to put this. I don't remember. Well, I know where I put everything else. I'm putting this at 7.5.
Ooh.
7.5, 8. It's up there with the Hacker Shore. And again, it's only based on what we're doing tonight. It's my taste preference. Everyone can disagree with me. Most people will. But I really like it. I'm 7. I'm going to, you know what? Let's do a solid 7 on that. I'm doing a solid 7 on that one. Not 7.5, not 8. Solid 7.
I'm thinking about a 6.
6 is good.
6.5.
Sure.
I'm
I think a
going
solid 7.
yeah.
Solid 7. I
We're
was
in that
shooting,
area.
I was shooting really high because I really like this right now. It kind of surprised
Yeah.
me. So the element of surprise is kind of boosting up my rating. 7, I feel, is fair.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. You're fair in your opinion. I'm thinking about 6. I'm trying to remember the other ones, but I'm having a hard time not going higher than 6. You know, like I should be like, 7, like 7.5, but
7 is
I'm gonna settle with 6.
Yeah, 7 is my opinion creeping in there and taking over.
I like.
We both just said that at the same time, yeah. And honestly, all of these, every single one of these beers, I would drink not all the time, but I would drink them all over again. I could have every single one of these beers again, ranking them against each other. So far, Hacker Shore seems to be the best.
Yeah. No, and it excites me that these are Oktoberfest beers because I look forward to like when they start coming in and
Yeah, I do too. I'm sad because it means summer's ending.
Yeah.
And here in Chicago, as you guys know, it is the end of happiness. It
summer
is the
ends in like July.
end of light, the end of my wife's happiness, who is dreading fall.
All the flowers die.
But yeah, I do love this time of year when it comes to beer. And of course, around this is the time, as the year has gone on, and on this podcast, I had mentioned how many times I was trying to not drink beer during the week. That didn't happen.
Yep.
And I've started doing it again. So I'm not drinking beer during the week,
Hallelujah.
except for this episode, obviously. So how are you feeling about doing the very last one? I will drink more of it than you if you'd like.
No, we can do it.
Then pause this motherfucker.
And we're back.
So the last beer of I'm so somber because we paused. The very last beer that we're going to drink is a staple in my home around this time of year, and it is probably the first real Oktoberfest beer I've ever tried. And not when
Probably
I say
for a lot of people.
Not when I say real, but like a beer that's labeled itself Oktoberfest. And I'm sure most people have tried it. It is Sam Adams Oktoberfest, and as I said earlier, It is Oktoberfest with a C because they're not in Germany. Yeah, they're not doing it in Germany, so they're respectful and not using the K. They're using a C for it. Does it say what's the ABV on this one?
5.3. Does
it say anything? Does it just say Oktoberfest?
Yeah, it says Oktoberfest, rich and balanced, traditional Marzen.
Oh, so it's traditional Marzen. It's a Marzen. And looking at it,
it's a lot darker than the other ones.
Yeah, it's a lot darker than the last two. It looks like a more natural amber orangish, as the last two almost look, as you said, for Revolutions, it looked dyed, which I doubt they did. They used malts for that to get the coloring, but this is more reminiscent of the Spaten Oktoberfest and the Hacker Shore Oktoberfest. It smells like beer.
Yeah.
It smells like, it actually does smell like a Marzen, so I'm going to go in for my sip here. That is different than all the other ones.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of the bitterness in the back, I don't think.
No, there's almost a fruitiness to it, and I don't want that to be misconstrued as like tart or sweet, even though those are characteristics of fruit.
Yeah.
But there is some type of fruitiness, and you do get fruitiness from lagers. This, I gotta go for another sip before I continue that thought. This one's, yeah, there we go. This one's more refreshing than the Goose Island Oktoberfest.
Yeah, but it's got that maltiness that I felt like with some of the German beers that we tried.
Yeah, the Spaten and the, I wish we had another Fest beer, because that's the only Fest beer that we had was the Hofbrau. But yeah, the Hacker Shore Oktoberfest and the Spaten Oktoberfest Marzen, this is along those lines. The bitterness is balanced. It's sweet, malty, not syrupy, not cloyingly sweet. But there is like a fruitiness to it that I just can't put my finger on, but I like it. And this is why it remains one of my favorite beers around this time of year, especially in the Oktoberfest category.
Well, yeah, and it's easily accessible, so.
Yeah, I bought a 12-pack, I think, for like $14 at the Jewels today.
Oh, Jewels.
If I got to rate this one, I gave Goose Island 7. I'm going to put this up there with the Hacker Shore with the 8. That's an 8 for me.
Okay.
So the skunkiness, unfortunately, hindered the Spaten, but that was just based on the bottle it came in. So I can't, not really knocking it. I know what Spaten Oktoberfest tastes like. I wish we had some fresh Oktoberfest from Spaten, but we don't. We live in Chicago. It's hard to get. Overall, even with the Revolution Oktoberfest being so low, it's a very specific way of them paying tribute to this style, and it's a good one. Overall, all these beers are good. All 6 of them, and only one of them was a can. was Revolution. But yeah, this is a great style. It's an easy drinking style for people who are looking for those regular run-of-the-mill beers that you drink all the time. This is definitely a style you can go out there and try, and I'm telling you, you will most likely, if not 100%, enjoy it, because they're lagers, and lagers is what America was built on.
Yep.
That's a good saying. Lagers built America.
True. I mean, because it is. Basically. Yeah, this is a solid 7 for me. So.
No, good. Yeah, I'm with that. So, there you go. There you have it. Oktoberfest beers. It's a great time of year to drink these beers. The leaves are changing. Still might be warm outside. You got the crispness in the air, but you know, these are the type of beers you want to be drinking. Like I said, sitting around a fire, or maybe just hanging out with some friends in the kitchen while you're making some sausages. But yeah, this is a good episode. Mainly, not I don't know what the quality episode is, but I like the episode because of the beers that we drank specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, no, these are solid, and it's. I feel like most of these are accessible for most people.
Yeah.
In the States.
Question mark?
Yeah, well, because I don't know like where the market is, especially for like the German beers. Like,
True.
Do they go to the small towns? Do they go, like, what are they in, like, the bigger markets? I don't know, but, I mean, if you can find them, go for them. And if you can't, like, I know Sam Adams is readily accessible.
Yeah. You can definitely find Sam Adams, that's for sure.
Goose Island at this time is probably, for most folks, readily accessible. But, again, I don't know how far they distribute that beer, so...
I'm starting to think that those beers are probably readily available as well, like 312 and Next Coast, and some of the other ones are doing. I almost said 312 again. Boy, these Oktoberfest beers are starting to weigh on me. But yeah, if you get an opportunity to try it, if you see a German-looking name on a bottle or a case of beer that says Oktoberfest on it, there's a good chance it's going to be pretty damn tasty, especially if it's in a brown bottle. The green bottle just kind of goofed it for me.
Yep.
Not a fan. But overall, man, good selections. We done good. We done good.
Yes, we did.
And I was wrong. We do have one more episode here in September before we get into October. What that's going to be, well, we'll find out. You'll find out next time when you hear from us here on the 212 Roundtable. This is Tony Golick. Signing.
And Brandon Winninger.
Oh, sorry. I'll try again. This is Tony Golick.
And Brandon Winninger.
Signing off. The intro and outro music was provided by Fluid Minds. You can find them on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere music is streaming. You can also find their music at fluidmindsmusic.com. The rest of the music was provided by YouTube. I found some fitting music that was royalty-free that I thought would be good. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our podcast. We look forward to bringing you more shows and more surprises. Cheers.